Hi friends, welcome to Bringing Back Basic Gray. I'm going to mix it up a little bit because this is a small collaboration hosted by my friend Beth of Bourbon Creek Crafts and Stampin' Cat on Instagram. Our friend Kathy is in it too. So it's just the three of us, which allows us to have slightly longer videos if we want. In a big collaboration, it would not be cool to do that. In updates yesterday, I talked about coming home from the beach and what I did. I have this pile that is sorted. It is probably not enough pages for a journal. It is a strange pile. I somehow have 3 of this sticker sheet, and I don't know if I or wherever they came from, but all 3 of them have been used. So partials all over. Then at the beach, I didn't have, plus I was tired and lazy, I didn't have my big paper cutter that makes a nice clean edge, and you know how I like to butt it up to the edge. But I chose these for the cover, and I bagged them so that I didn't grab them and mess up and chop them. In fact, I'm going to show you, and then I'm going to put them back in, and I want to look too. What I'm thinking about doing, and my friend Nancy was kind enough to point out to me that tomorrow is when Basic Gray is due, so I was thinking it was Monday and I had the whole weekend. No, so we can't be dawdling so much. Okay, here's what I'm thinking. This will be the outside. Oh, if I do that, then the bees, the flowers are upside down. Okay, shoot. I had an idea for a pocket is where I was going. And what I was thinking about long term. Okay, imagine your cover isn't directional. You don't cut this piece of paper. You cut this piece of paper 9 inches tall. You glue it right here. And then you score and flip this up. So you would have the leaves outside. You would have the leaves inside. You would have a pocket built into your cover. But I don't want to do it with the bees because I don't want the tulips upside down. And I do want this as my cover because I'm imagining it like this and then a big die cut bee right here. Like I had it in my brain. So I'm going to stick with that. Nancy remembers to do pockets in her covers. And so I was asking her, does she cut it? Does she whatever? And then later I was like, I should fold it. I haven't done a lot of pockets built into my cover like that. I've seen people sew them in with like lace or fabric, but I haven't done a lot of paper. This paper is not super thick. We're not talking like blue fern or anything like that. This isn't killer thick, so I think it would fold okay. A really cheap paper might crack on the fold, but I think this one will work. Worst case scenario, we just take a cutter and we trim it off and we go, okay, next time we're not going to do it that way. So that's what I'm thinking for the cover. I'm going to bag that, and I'm going to do that offline because what I'm thinking for today is cut this, and then this will be my inside. They're single-sided, and then I'll use this piece right here to put this in, and maybe I'll forget before we assemble. I mean, maybe I'll mess it up, but since it's not alive, you can't keep me from messing it up anyway. Then I have, I think, some of these papers in here. Well, I have the frogs and stuff. What I forgot to tell you in updates is I didn't take all these letters apart because I want the letters. I probably don't. I probably want the H. My friend Katie was talking about how this could be H, and then you know how we had that trend for a while where you mix and match your letters, and we need to do it anyway because we have too many. But maybe on the front of a card, we could fit this giant H and then a smaller I, or an ELLO. We might even have an I in here that would work. So I'm going to keep a few letters, not many at all. The rest of them, I'm going to use them and chop them up as embellishments. And I thought about chopping them as I went. Like, I'm probably going to cut a large rectangle out of this R and use that. But I honestly was in a waiting room, and I just needed something to entertain me for a really long time. So I punched 3 of these out. And I didn't even use my scissors. I didn't do a thing. I just punch. People in there probably thought I was a little insane, but they were probably jealous. They didn't bring something to do. I can't find an I. Oh, maybe this is it. It's probably a 1. I don't know. Maybe that's it. So there are a few things in here that I will keep as letters. But other than that, in fact, I'll probably bag these 2 right now to protect them, or put them in I'll use one of these boxes. And then the other things, I'm going to use as embellishments. Clusters, layers. I mean, I can get some fun stuff out of here. The other thing that does is it gives me different scale of my patterns because these are small dots as opposed to on a page. And I've mixed a whole bunch of collections here. It was just like blue, green, maybe something else. I can't remember if I told you, but it's 10:23 a.m. right now. And I've been on the treadmill and I've had coffee. And honestly, I kind of feel like I need a nap. But in my experience, if I assemble and then I give myself a little break and then I come back, I'll probably actually get it embellished. Whereas if I procrastinate too long, then you guys will just see a journal that, I mean, the glue hasn't even set and I just made it. So my logic was I'm going to start now to try and get some stuff done. Okay, like I said, we don't have very many sheets, so we really want to make them count. I was thinking I'd put some tea dyed, or actually I have some light blue paper that we might like in here. Like this. What do you know? I don't know how much of it I have dyed and fun and ready to go, but I do have a whole stack of blue that I got at a sale or something. Okay, the corners are bent on all of these probably because they've been banged around for decades. So let's think about that. Also, this isn't a directional paper, so let's make a pocket. So let's just get this cleaned up. Then let's cut our inch off the side. We know the journal can't be wider than the cover. And if you've made some journals and you have experience, when you take a 12-inch piece of paper and you fold it in half like this, these pieces inside will stick out if you don't trim them down. So that's why we take an inch off. Now I'm talking and I forgot, did I get the banged up corner? No. Okay, now I'm going to get this just a little bit. I didn't really want to trim it, but I had to. Okay, so now we have our 11 scoreboard. Ta-da! I found this morning one of those metal scoring tools, like this, but not this one, a smaller one, in the hallway when I got up. It is crazy. I don't know if Zelda finds stuff and then she hides it from me for a while, because I don't know where she got that, unless it was in the bin that went to the beach and came back and then she was reaching into the bin. I mentioned that she's kind of obsessed with my wedding ring. It is securely in the bathroom drawer right now. And it's the same ring. Oh, she had my necklace the other day. I have a necklace that matches my blue ring, and she had that. She likes metal. I'll make the pages that I can out of the not a lot of basic gray paper that we have. I'm thinking this one is kind of a color stretch, but I'm going to use it anyway because, see, it kind of works. And then we'll fill in with other stuff. We'll see how it is. This actually might be, it is. It's almost a page. Let's just do it. So we'll make it 11. And I'm using up the scraps, right? Instead of always opening up a brand new collection. And I'm not out of untouched collections, but I don't think I want to do that. I thought about this as the cover, but the problem with it is if that was the front, that's boring because you have to cut something off. Or I kept playing and I thought maybe that was the cover. I don't know. In the end, I decided I liked the bees better, but still a great page for the journal. Now, I'm probably not going to be able to keep that bee. Maybe. Let's see. If we do, we're going to end up with 2 scraps, and we're pretty desperate for paper, so let's not do that. Sometimes, like if I'm going through Christmas papers and I have a million and I know I'll use all the scraps, and then I don't worry about it. Now, if we made this a pocket, it wouldn't be terrible. And then we could keep all the flying critters in there. Almost. We'd have to cut somebody off. Okay, now we're going to have some weird scraps, but here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go this way. Give about a 1/2 inch there. And then, ooh, but I don't want to lose the bee. Okay, hang on. because I'm thinking bee theme. I have a container of some bee stuff, so we still have some to use up. Okay, we got to 11. We're good. Let's score it, and then I'll show you what my crazy logic was on that in case you can't see it yet. 8.5. So all my pages are 8.5 tall. And you don't have to have a scoreboard, but you do have to put a little more time in with your bone folder or the handle of your scissors, whatever tools you have. You do not have to have all the tools I have. I'm sure you've heard me say that before. Okay, there. Now we have beautiful butterfly page, beautiful butterfly pocket, and a page with bees and a butterfly. Love it. Our colors are going to be pretty wild in here. We might need some light blue or tea just so our eyeballs can rest. Now, I'm double checking my work here. Yep, my cover is in the bag. We are safe. I don't want a whole bunch of bottom pockets. Does that make sense? Let's think about, okay, this one has plants growing, so that one we want. We could flip this one and have it be one of those top things if we want. Oops. I just haven't decided. That's why I stopped talking. I didn't know what to tell you. I think it's adorable when you guys are like, I love to hear your logic. Oh, do I have logic? Now, whether it's a top or a bottom pocket, it doesn't matter. We do the same thing. We have a piece of paper that's 11 inches wide and we score it at 8.5. The only thing that might matter is where we score it, because if I had a pattern or something big like the butterflies, I might score it here versus here. I am going to score it here and see where the day takes us. I like to use my paper cutter or the edge of my scoreboard to fold against, so that's why you see me doing that. I don't think that one was quite right. And if your pockets stick out a little bit, that's okay. You can trim them. If you're smart, you trim them before you sew the journal together, but can't say I always do that. Now, I do like these two together, so let's keep those in sequence. This is kind of a lot going on. Let's try this. I almost never want two pockets in a row. Is that weird? I don't know. Maybe sometimes I do because I have pockets on every page, but I don't think I usually do that because of directional stuff. Okay, we have a scrap here that is weird. Something's been chopped out of it. So first, let's get a straight edge over here. There we go. And then let's make it 8.5. Now, this is one where I'm going to pause and look at it. If I do 8.5, I have a B here, a B here, a B right on the seam that probably won't show, and this one. If I change it up and I flip it this way, I go 8.5, I'm going to have, this page is going to have 2 B's on it. This guy's going to be in the crack, and this one's going to show really nicely. So that's one way where when you're making your journal, if the paper isn't exactly the same throughout, you might want to pause and go, where do I really want to cut this? Okay, so I'm going to cut it 8.5 inches tall. Now, since it is only less than 10 inches wide, I have a couple of choices. I can fold it right in half, in which case I'll probably lose this B right here, and both pages will be a little small. Or I can say, hang on, let's look at where a 5.5 score line would be. Yep, it'd be right over that B. But what if, okay, that's 5.5, it'd be right there. But what if we do it this way? And we say, just hang with me for a minute, I'll get it. It can't be wider than 5.5 on either side, right? And it's 9.5. If we fold it right in half, it's only less than 5, okay? And if we fold it right in half, it's gonna hit that B. But if we score it at 5.5, a regular page, this B is not gonna be on the seam. But let me show you, if I score it right here at 5.5, it goes like this, and the B is on the back page, down there in the way corner. So let's try, I'm not saying it's gonna work. Some of this stuff you don't know till you sew it together. Let's try going, I'm gonna move it over just a hair, And I'm going to score right next to this guy. And I think then we'll have this nice cute bee right here. And it's less than 5.5, so it still works. That guy shows, that one, all of them. That is the kind of stuff that, you know, especially if you don't have a lot of paper to work with. There we go. Let's break up this green. If you don't have a lot of paper to work with and you're trying to make sure that your theme shows. Maybe it was a dinosaur. Maybe it was something else. Okay, now this is a kind of small piece of paper. Let's look at everything first. These are single-sided too. I'm thinking this might be the nice pocket in the center of the journal, but let's look around. Let's see if I missed anything. Okay, we've got cover. Oh, this is a cutie too. Does not really go, but we'll probably do it. It's going to be like every basic gray collection that had some green in it. I think these are scrappy scraps. Oh, no, okay. So there's another one we could do something with. There's another one. Oh, birds. Some card bases. Yeah, that makes sense. Why not? Oh, here's a pocket I got ready for another journal and forgot about. This is cover. It's 2 layers thick. Not sure why I glued the whole entire thing together, but okay. That might have been before I was really figuring out what I want to do. Okay, we have a lot of options for pockets in the journal. Any one of these probably could make a center pocket. I could take this, I could fold it in half. It could be the center pocket. This one could. This one, I don't really like this. I don't really want this in my journal. So that is probably a great pocket. But these are single-sided, so they're not really adding a lot, except you can decorate or write on them. This is different, though. It's a different paper than we have, so it brings it in. So let's do this. Let's say we're going to leave this one in. Man, this is a lot of green for me. I bet Maria and Andrea will like it, though. Let's mix up the sizes a little here. We don't have to use them all. I want to be careful about scoring everything, because if I set these aside and say, I want to save this for a card, which this is from Sugar Rush, and I love this, and I love the scale of the pattern for a card, so I don't think I'm going to use this unless we desperately need a pocket or something later. Plus, I already have so many different patterns going on here. That one's not great with this. Same here, don't love it with it, but it's not one of my favorite papers. Okay, let's take this and fold it in half, because that's probably what we're going to do with it. Oh, but we want to save some stuff for pockets too. Okay, I'm going to get us a little thing. There's 2 cats in the chair next to me. I just scared the heck out of them. Okay, we probably want that for pockets, okay? We could use it right now, but especially if we bring in other things, yeah, this would be a great journaling card. These would too, except I get weird if they're not directional. Now, I've already folded this one too, because it would have been a nice tag and I could have decorated, so don't let me fold things without thinking it through. This will probably be a tuck spot on the page. We're going to have a lot of this paper too, so I want to be kind of careful about that. I guess it'll just be really green. Maybe we'll bring in some ladybugs with our butterfly theme. Bee theme. Oh, I woke them up. Wish I hadn't done that. I'm just not feeling the birds. I don't know. Maybe we're going to have bees, butterflies. Sure, why not? What else am I going to use the birds for? Now, what I need to figure out is how tall are the birds right now? I think they're taller than we want them. Yeah, so let's get them down to 8.5. Okay, now I'm thinking we score them right here. So on the facing page, you have this, and then you have this on the back, and you don't miss any. I mean, you kind of miss the like cuteness of the. So I'm just using the scoreboard so I can get a straight line, not to measure. And then I went right down there. And experience just tells me that that's narrower than 5.5, making a lot of journals and practicing. Just be sure if you make random size pages, they're smaller than 5.5. Maybe right here. And then I look at, okay, if it's smaller, what shows behind it? Do they clash? Are they remotely fun together? And I like those together. And those birds are upside down, those birds are right side up. Yeah, that's how life is with Basic Gray. I may have failed to mention, Basic Gray doesn't make paper anymore. We do this collaboration to get out our Basic Gray and play with it. We're not here to try and use every bit of it up. Though I am trying, this would be a cute pocket, right? We trim this, we use this. So I'm going to put that here. I am trying to do a pretty good job on this pile of using things and not generating more and more scraps. Okay, I think we're going to take a break now, and I'm going to make a cover, and I'll come back and show you how things are turning out later. I just wanted to give you a peek of how it's going. I stitched it with black waxed linen, and for reasons I can't quite understand, I didn't cut it 9 inches tall, so it's just a hair taller than the pages. That's okay. You know, sometimes we do it different. And I haven't decorated it all, except I did put the pocket in. I sliced it in the middle because I wasn't exactly sure how to keep it from puckering. I think I might put that right there with a double pocket. I haven't glued the pockets closed yet or anything. And I'm going to go and take some stuff and probably watch TV and do some decorating. So that's where we are at this point. And I still have my little pile of scraps. There's not a lot of scraps to work with, really. I have a bunch right here, a lot of vertical options. And maybe I will layer these into a pocket made of strips if I need to, or something like that. Here we are. It is Sunday morning at 8:19. So I'm going to flip and talk because this is due out at 9. It takes a while to process and upload. I've stamped Reach for the Stars. It is not drying very well. That's interesting because I think I've had trouble with this paper before. So I'm going to set it right here. It still looks really shiny. I've added a ton of the stickers. I didn't really use up any sticker sheet. I got this one pretty close, but I still have a lot of stickers. But I use them as embellishments. They don't show well in the video, but they're great for texture and they're not shiny, so you can draw on them or put dots. I've done some drawing in this journal I'll show you that I think would inspire someone to get out a pen and sketch even more, or add stitching, add doodling, trace around butterflies. I think it'd be fun for that. These are also stickers, so I don't know if the dimension shows in the video. If that doesn't work, I'll put something else back in there probably. I inked the edges of these tags that I put in. You're going to see more of these. They were bright. I didn't put any ink on the brush this morning. I just used it dirty because I'm so heavy-handed and I wanted it to not be brown, but to be Basic Gray, kind of grunge. Oh, the cover. I have to talk fast, you guys. The cover I'm torn on. This die that Kathy gave me, I love. It's blessed, 2-layer. You put it on here. It would be gorgeous, maybe with one of the layers as yellow, and then maybe the other one is black even. I don't know. Be kind of fun for a yellow and black butterfly. I didn't have a big die. I think the bee die that I was thinking of is Noni's. I don't really have time to mess with that right now. I could do a butterfly. This butterfly looks amazing just in black. And then I have other bees, so I could do a smaller bee. Like if it had to be bee themed, I think what I'd do is several bees and maybe even on like a big oval or something to mat them. I can't decide and we're in a hurry. Maybe the person that buys this would want to decorate the cover themselves. Oh, $26 all in, shipped in the US. If I don't actually get around to putting it on Etsy, which is very unlikely, I still haven't posted my digital. Just leave me a comment down below. Pocket, nice page for writing, sketching. I thought this paper with the grid would be fun because I could journal right on that and keep it straight. I added things from my stash that the colors worked for and then just inked the edges a little. This is a double pocket page and I wanted to show that. And this is an actual sticker, but Basic Gray stickers are matte, so you can write on them. You could write, you could stamp, you could build a collage, whatever, just preps for the focal point. Then ladybug, bee, sticker up there because I had some glue problem. Also, my scraps were narrow, so I was kind of trying to compensate for that. At one point in the process, I said, I want my tags to be directional. No, if it's a directional paper, I would prefer that these leaves grew upright, not sideways, but it is what it is. On these patterned pages, I would probably glue things or put more pockets. You could take, maybe not this paper, but a scrap from in here, and instead of using it as a journal card, you could make more pockets if you wanted. Stickers. I used a bunch of those stickers. I didn't think to ink the edges, but I did use stickers. Dots to add interest to that paper. Then, oh, I went nuts, you guys. I don't know in the end if it turned out well. It's not going to show the texture on camera, but it is a million stickers colored up a little, drawn around the edge. I didn't draw all the way down the stem on this one, but you get the idea, and it might inspire you to say, oh, it should be drawn. I'm going to draw. And then you'll start doodling on the flowers. And then I don't know where your day goes, but it's fun. Here I have stickers for texture. It's kind of nice when you pull it out. You feel it. Seek joy and some butterflies. Funny thing, remember when I said it doesn't matter if it's going to be the top or the bottom, you do the same thing? True, but had I been thinking, I would have sliced this and it would have been a tip up. I actually like it better as a pocket because this paper is so dark to write on. So another way to use them. I didn't notch in this book, partly because I wanted the patterns to show, and there was a place where it would have taken out the butterfly or something, and I didn't want to do it, and partly because I was just in a hurry. Rounded the corners on the smaller pages, not the bigger ones. I don't know, it's a new thing. Here's that bee that we worked so hard to save and get him to show on the front. The weird birds. I put this in the pocket in the middle, and I stamped positive vibes in the middle. Then we have just fun little pages. This is a lot of white for one of my pages normally. And maybe I'll find, like, here's one. Let's just put, maybe we just need a little splash of color. These stickers are a bit old. I'm not good at hurrying, am I? So I did hit them with extra glue, but maybe we just need a little something. Look, I even let a little more pink in there. And if this was my journal, I would stamp or I would write or I would glue things. So in the end, it wouldn't be white, but I like to have enough so it's fun from the beginning. I guess my logic on not rounding this one was I didn't round the other half of it. Rounded it, and I have stickers on it. This is a sticker, but remember it's matte, so you can write on it. And then I put a ladybug on it. Happiness is not a destination, it is a way of life with a butterfly. And then another small page. This is a sticker on the page, so you're getting nice texture. You can feel it when you turn the page. April showers bring May flowers. Just a thought is from my stash, but the colors and the pattern worked. The joy of the journey is best measured by the friends, not the miles. And again, you might want to cut this off and use it as a scrap somewhere else, but I left as much as I could. This is the only piece of this I have. I loved this paper, so I thought you needed some in here. Then a sticker coming up out of the pocket. And here we saved that big bright butterfly. I mean, I forgive it for being pink because that's a knockout of a page for a focal point. This page I want to doodle on right now. I do have a sticker right there, so you have some texture on it too. I put another sticker flower in here and traced the whole thing. A bee, bees on the back also stamped. This sticker collection, and that's pretty much how Basic Gray was, didn't have a lot of sentiments. The only sentiment, and if you've been around a while, you might know my thoughts on this, in this whole thing is live, laugh, love, and it's pink. I wouldn't put live, laugh, love in anything because it is just overdone. My sister was an art teacher, and every project said that for years when it was trendy. I took every live, laugh, love sticker out of all my collections, put them all on a card and mailed it to her because that's how we roll. We're fun like that. That is the Basic Gray project for this month. I kind of love it. The blue and the green. I don't think I'm going to work on the cover today. I have a live this afternoon at 2 o'clock for members. I like to do new, different projects, right? So I think I'll set this aside for today, maybe start small pad or something, and then something else. You never know. The other thing I wanted to mention, except we're out of time, I'm getting a lot of questions about pages and signatures. This one, let's count how many pages. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 9 pieces of paper went into it. I was thinking as we were making this, I was going to add a bunch of tea dye because it was going to be wimpy. It's not wimpy. At 9, it needs some stuff to sit on it, to flatten it. I maybe should have scored some of these a little better. So 9, if it's a nice cardstock, is plenty. And that works out nice because most of the collection packs are like 12 pieces of paper. So you have 2 that you use on your cover, then you have 10 or 9 for inside, and then you can use some other ones a different way. This one's making it thick because we have this top pocket, and I forgot to cut that out. So that's part of why it's not laying right. I'll put an encyclopedia and an atlas on it and convince it. It also, the covers lots of times are like baseball hats with thick paper. You have to kind of convince it. It needs a little rolling pin or a glue bottle. I'm having some troubles with this one, so I'm hesitant to put it in a journal, and it'll shape nicely. I like mine to be a little bit curled. Is that weird? I like the cover to curl inward a little. So it's all preference. If your paper is super thick, that makes a difference. Fewer pages because of the weight. When you're deciding about signatures, waxed linen thread or embroidery floss is fine. If you're talking about taking a scrapbook paper, using about 9 or 10 pieces of paper, fine. No matter what, you can't go wrong. If you're going to use embroidery floss, it is more stretchy, it is more likely to tangle, it's trickier. So that's when you have to be thinking more about thinning. In that big, tall journal I had, I was thinking the papers were thin. Well, they were thin scrapbook paper. They weren't copy paper. So they probably still were 30 pound instead of 20. And they were really big, so they were heavy. And I used embroidery floss. So it got sloppy and I should have narrowed it down. There's no perfect answer, I don't think, because it's going to vary depending on the weights of your paper. But 10 pieces of paper, you can't go wrong. If you want it to lay flatter and not fight you, maybe try 8 and see how you like that. If you're fine teaching it to be a journal and stacking it in something, then you're good. These, they sass me a lot when I first make them, but then I put them in a bin, and by the time I mail them to you, they're pretty flat. Just depends on preference. I hope my non-answer was helpful. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to check out Beth and Kathy, and I hope you're having a wonderful weekend. I'll talk to my members later today. Bye-bye.